Hey everybody, uh, I'm sorry about my last video being cut short, and then I wasn't really able to follow up, and there's a few people in the comments that were like, what were you gonna say? And I think what I was gonna get at was that I think a lot of people a lot of new crypto investors have a buy and hold mentality, and that it can take quite a while to really get comfortable with selling. Um, Maybe not everyone struggles with this, but I know uh, there's a tendency in crypto that you want it to go to the moon, right? Or you're looking for above average gains. And so, you know, there's different archetypes in the crypto world. There's like a meme about different personalities, and there's a moon boy. You know, you're looking for a 10,000%, 10,000x, but a 50% gain is substantial. And knowing how to trade is not easy. Um, you know, so I think that what I was gonna say was that I didn't really want to talk about it, but since it's been about a 2-year process, God has given me more of a trader's mindset, much more of a trader's mindset. My first experience with crypto was buying Dogecoin at a nickel, and I watched it go up to a 60-cent valuation. So my portfolio went from being worth like $2,000 to $18,000 or more, and I never cashed out. I just, back then the narrative was, oh, Dogecoin's going to go to $1, so I didn't take profits. And let me be honest with you, $18,000, that's sorry, sweaty, that's life-changing money for me. You know, I could have fixed my truck, get a new set of tires, whatever, whatever. A year's worth of dog food. So 18,000 bucks was sitting there, and I didn't capture it, and I watched it come back down. Well, then mentally, you're hoping it goes back up, because you, and so there's this psychological game that goes on, especially when things are at all-time highs and volatile. So I believe that in the last video at the end, I was going to try to touch up on this idea that, let's just say there's people on YouTube, and there's other forecasters too, who say they believe such and such crypto is going to go to such and such price. It doesn't really matter what the current price is, and it really doesn't matter what the future price is. What matters most is what price you bought it at, because the price that you bought it at will determine whether the current price or future price is a substantial gain for you. And then, so each individual, if I have $10,000 in a coin, just hypothetical, 10,000 bucks in Luna Classic, and it doubles in price overnight, I might want to take a little bit of profits, because I don't know if it's going to come back down. You know, is it going to keep going up? So I didn't want to get into this, because this is not financial advice. This is just me talking out loud. about different thoughts. If I have $10,000 worth of Luna and it doubles to 20,000. Oh, but God said it's going to hit a penny, or God said it's going to hit $1. Yeah, you don't know when that's going to be. So you may want to pull $1,000 out. If you pull $1,000 out, that's 10% of your original investment, okay? Which is, a small amount. You're taking 10%, and you doubled your money. You realized the game, and you recouped 20% of your original investment. Now, let's say Luna Classic drops back down, another 50%. Now you got the option to buy back more, right? So typically, when there is huge volume in a crypto and people flood in, it doesn't matter what it is. Like I saw it with Dogecoin. You're looking at a month, maybe, of upward buy, where there's way more buys, of a lot of buy pressure, and there's a frenzy. It's in the news. Everybody and their mama. By the time it's in the news, it's too late. You have to make really good gains. And it's all like a compounding exponential equation. I don't know how to use words. If I bought Dogecoin at a penny as opposed to a nickel, my gains would have been exponentially bigger. And the difference between that penny price and that nickel price could be one day, okay, of obtaining that entry price. It can go from a penny to a nickel in one day. If I had bought it the prior day at a penny, I will get 500% more gain on that investment than if I waited and bought it at a nickel. But both entry points seem cheap. So with BNB Tiger, it's got however many zeros. That obscures, the human mind cannot deal with numbers like septillions, and maybe there's a few geniuses out there. If you're that smart, you're not watching my YouTube channel. If you can calculate decimals with 17 zeros and divide them and know it. So when you buy a coin like BNB Tiger, it's a BNB token. On PancakeSwap, there's a 10% buy and sell tax that they enforce. That 10% is either 9 or 10%. That is part of the tokenomics of the coin. So you're losing 10% of your money off the top. So that automatically means you need it to go up more than 10% to make a return on your investment. Well, 10% is not bad for a savings account or the stock market, but in crypto, people don't even blush. Well, then when you sell it, so when you buy it, they're going to tax you, and this is just specific to certain Binance coins, meme coins. They have a tax. Okay, so everybody's getting their little cut. Well, then when you sell it, they charge you 10% sell tax, 9 to 10, whatever it is. So that means if I made $10,000 profit and I sell it, I will be charged, or quote quote deducted, $1,000 when I sell. That's a lot of money. So the crypto mindset is usually people are at least trying to double their money on a coin before they take profits. Usually, that's when people are dealing with small sums of money. Okay, $100, is a small investment. I think. So that's what makes it all complicated. I'm not really giving advice. I'm sharing ideas that it takes you a while to understand, because they're taking the tokens out. You're getting quadrillion, bazillion, badillion BNB Tiger coins or WikiCat. I've got so many billions. But when you swapped them, they took a bazillion from you because of the sell tax. So you can check these tokenomic functions on websites, and there's a website, Dex Tools, and they're really good. There's a readout where you'll see the market cap and all this, and it'll tell you the buy and sell taxes. So that's why I didn't want to get into it in my last video, plus the battery or memory card filled up. So there's so many variables. Well, I had a person just comment today. They said, so they pay you to make these videos? And the comment was put in an older BNB Tiger video. And to be honest with you, I could be paid. I'm not. I'm not being paid. I'm not receiving crypto or whatever. I do hold the coin. And if God shows me a coin and I make a video about it, you can automatically assume I have it, because I'm no dummy. If God's going to show me something, I'm going to make an effort to buy it, right? My goal for making videos, so this person, they said, you know, it was a snarky looking tone. You can't really read the tone, but it's like, so they're paying you to make these videos or what? And, you know, and the title is like 3 visions that God gave me. So I commented back and said, obviously you don't have any personal revelations or you wouldn't say something like this. Because really, I just want to be confirmation for people. I don't want to convince anyone. I want to help them to understand what God's showing them better, and then we all try to put the pieces together. But the timing is really strange, you know. So we've wrestled with timing, and I've even wrestled. I've believed God showed me something more than once in crypto, and it didn't really pan out how I thought it would. So we're human. God reserves the right to surprise us, and it's a very volatile space. I don't think we're comprehending the pervasiveness and magnitude of where crypto will go. Much like you couldn't have imagined what the internet was going to be 40 years ago. And no, everyone's going to have a computer in their pocket with GPS and all that. You really couldn't have comprehended it. Even if someone explained it to you, people's brains and their minds, people would literally say, probably, why would anyone want a computer with them all the time? Because then you wouldn't be able to like enjoy the more subtle things in life. But now people have been conditioned, and people are weak as far as self-control. And you know, again, the devil is like very, very pervasive in this culture, and he deceives us in ways we don't even know. I mean, I don't even want to get on that. So, you know, you could be fully deceived and not even know it. That's why it's called deception. But if you get people's minds, because there's a biology to reinforce something that you need it. That's what marketing's about. You know, they use images and words and noises and songs and dances to stick in your head. Some of that stuff you can't get out. But if you ask someone 40 years ago, you know, if they would want to carry a computer in their pocket, they'd say no, probably not. Like, because people didn't even really like computers that much back then. You know, it was reserved for the geeks. And then slowly everybody got familiar with it. And anyway, so I had written something down. It's not that I don't trust technology, and I'm not really against technology, because I made some videos about setting boundaries and AI and pervasiveness, and you know, of how do you limit your consumption of, you know, propaganda from a television. All these questions that we have to make these choices. Well, we don't have to, but you can just live like and absorb it all. But I want to set boundaries and be mindful that this technology is probably not. There's people that are going to use it for bad. And I want to limit my exposure to that technology or dependence, because those bad people are going to use that technology to access you and what's important to you. So my distrust, you know, I don't distrust the government 100%. I distrust certain people in the government, and many of them I've never met and don't want to meet. I don't, as a blanket statement. I mean, I know cops and firefighters. I mean, firefighters are government employees in my town. I ain't got no problem with the fire chief. And I was really good friends with our city manager. I worked with him. Had nothing but respect for him. You know, I'm not anti-government. I just know there's certain people that use the government as a billy club and a propaganda machine. And Satan is behind, you know, most of that. Like, identity politics. That's got to be the worst thing ever. I'm black, so you ain't black if you don't vote for Joe Biden. It's like, what? He's an old white man. What are you talking about? Joe Biden said you ain't black if you don't vote for me. And he's talking to a black man. It's like, yeah, that makes no sense. But see, they've gotten away with telling you, oh, you know, if you're black, you better vote this way. And if you work hard, you're white, you better, whatever. Identity politics. These people. Lord have mercy. So, all this being said, I'm going to switch the subject. So I think I touched up on the trading mentality. I will add to that, you've got to pray to God individually. So let's say you have a bunch of crypto. You really need to ask God for the sell points. And there's nothing worse than holding the crypto and watching it go up and then back down. And BNB Tiger did that. You know, I was making videos about BNB Tiger when it was at like the 5 and 6 range, I believe, and then it went up to 18. That was a 3x. If you had put $1,000 in there, it would have turned into like 3,000 at that price point, and easily a 2x. I didn't sell any of mine. I thought it was going to keep going up. Certain people probably did take profits. Everyone has their own recipe, but I held it so long. Now it's back down into the 7s and 8s. So it's a buy opportunity. That's my opinion. So now it's time to buy, not time to sell. Anyway, so I don't know why I wanted to bring this up, but at our house, you know, I shot some videos from my dad's office a while back, and all of his friends, you know, we call it the fishing room, and there's pictures of his life. I mean, our family, his best friends, most of them have to do with hunting or fishing. A lot of them are cousins and uncles. And that room it's like his time capsule. A lot of the stuff in there, they're just material objects, you know, but they really do represent parts of my dad's life, like the fishing reels that he has. I mean, they're not just material items. They were his fishing reels that caught real fish, and those real fish were in our freezer, and he cooked them. And towards the more mature years of his life, I guess, you know, he did this, he found this recipe that he just really got good at. It was called redfish on the half shell. And it's basically half a slab of a redfish. You kind of leave the skin and scales on, and you grill it with the scales down, and the juice from the meat kind of broils in the fillet, and it retains the moisture because you've got the skin on the bottom. And he put lemon and onion on it, and it was so good. But yeah, all the fishing lures that he has, and he had a lot of like antique fishing lures and nostalgic stuff that he decorated the room. Well, we did the same thing in the garage, and it's a big garage. So the past few days I've been trying to declutter and get the old four-wheeler running and doing stuff, and it's just a whole different compartment of my brain. You know, crypto is over here, and then daily life, I got my animals, and then, you know, there's things you might have that you look at. Anyway, I need to get around to doing that. Maybe you need to clean up this room. Maybe you need to fix a lawnmower, or take the lawnmower to get. There's things that when you finally make your mind up to do it, like, I'm gonna get that done, and they'll say, you know, like, no matter what. So that's what I was doing, and I've just been reflecting on life. You know, what's important, what was important to my dad, thinking about how I could never comprehend what he had done for me as a provider. That's into my adulthood. I mean, every time he made breakfast, he'd make these breakfast sandwiches that were fried eggs with bacon and cheese, and it's like a toasted breakfast sandwich. Oh gosh. And he made them the same every time. He was so patient when it came to cooking. See, I wish I had those kind of patience cooking. my fried eggs always turned out like ugly, all messed up. They tasted good, but yeah, there's so many things important in life. And my mom, of course, it's gonna be 2 years that my dad's been passed, coming up in a month or two, and I was in such a survival mode. I wasn't really able to be there for my mom emotionally. I mean, there's not much I could really say or do. And grief is a process that everybody goes through on their own. And I know, if you've lived long enough, you've lost someone important to you. But the context of losing someone is always changing, because you'll say, I wish they could have been here for this. So, I wish they were around to see this day. And so as you press into the future, so to speak, you're getting continually reminded of who that person was. Because in our family, or this society and the pace of it, sorry, I'm at the scrap yard. I'm trying to get this stuff sold so I can get to the feed. But yeah, and the bad thing is, me and my dad, we bumped heads about a lot in our adulthood, and that blinded me to the man he really is, and really what, the conflict started. Some of the conflict started to overshadow the reality that he's my dad, and I tried. Always tried, and I wanted to spend time with him. I always wanted to spend time with him. I want to go fishing. So when I measure myself against him, like, oh, I'm a big Christian, you might think that you're vindicated in certain things in life and it's someone else. It's all so hard to wrap your head around. But my dad lived a life that any man should be, aspiring towards. He was very, very, very thoughtful, and I just wish he was here. And I know there's probably someone else out there going through the same thing. And sorry, I'm gonna dump this junk metal.